Hello friends, welcome to DEEPSIGHT. I am your navigator on today's civilization journey. In front of nature, human beings are just tiny stardust in the universe. Let's trace the development of ancient civilizations together and explore the deep meanings hidden under those appearances. In this issue, we will continue to take you in the footsteps of ancient civilizations and talk about another ancient civilization full of mystery and unknowns, Mayan civilization. December 21, 2012 is a famous date. It is the day that countless people are looking forward to the end of the world at the end of the last century. Countless academic papers have predicted in different ways the date and method on which mankind will end its own civilization. And all of them come from the same source, the Mayan doomsday predictions. In fact, the reason is very simple, because it is said that their calendar ended on December 21, 2012, so does this mean that they predicted the world? What about its demise? When that day finally arrived, people watched the sunrise and sunset in carnival and various expectations, without waiting for the miracle of the universe to happen, but our beautiful blue planet was still the same. There are 5 major prophecies in the history of the Mayan civilization. All the previous 4 have come true. So what went wrong with the 5th prophecy? Or is there something wrong with the way doomsday is expressed? In fact, this prophecy itself is a misunderstanding. The Mayans never predicted the end of the world. This day comes from their magical ancient calendar, and their calendar ends on this day. In fact, the ancient calendar of the Mayans only represents the end of a major cycle, and then a new major cycle will enter. The Mayan calendar was so precise and complex that they were able to calculate every date tens of millions of years in the past or future, a reflection of their highly developed mathematics and astronomy. The Mayan civilization was a civilization full of wisdom and creativity. They had amazing achievements in art, architecture, writing, religion, etc. Their culture also influenced other Mesoamerican civilizations, such as the Aztecs and the Incas. However, the Mayan civilization also has many unsolved mysteries. How did their civilization rise? Why are their abilities so great? The Mayan civilization is mainly distributed in countries such as Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador in Central America. The activity area of the Mayan civilization is roughly divided into 3 parts: the northern lowlands, including the Yucatan Peninsula, the central highlands, including the Chiapas Madre Mountains, and the southern Pacific coast plain. The origin of the Mayan civilization is a controversial topic, and different scholars have different opinions and theories. It is generally believed that the Mayan civilization gradually evolved from the early inhabitants of Mesoamerica, who may have migrated from the Asian continent to the Americas through the Bering Strait. According to archaeological evidence, the initial formation of the Mayan civilization originated from the Olmec culture from about 2000 BC to 1000 BC. This was the earliest civilization in Mesoamerica and is also known as the Mother Civilization. The Olmec culture arose in Mexico's Gulf Coast region and is famous for its giant stone statues with human heads. The influence of Olmec culture on Mayan civilization is mainly reflected in religion, art, architecture, astronomy, and calendar. The Olmec culture declined around 400 BC, and the Mayan civilization began to rise and entered the pre-classic period. During this period, the Maya began to establish early cities, develop agriculture and trade, create hieroglyphics, and build structures such as sacrificial centers and pyramids. The Mayan civilization of the pre-classic period was mainly distributed in the Petén Basin and the Guatemala highlands. The most famous sites include Caminalju, Mirador, Nacpi, and Nazapa. The Maya civilization in the pre-classic period laid the foundation for the prosperity of the later classic period. The origins of the Mayan race are an interesting topic, involving the origins and migrations of the Native Americans. According to genetic and archaeological research, the Mayans, like other Native Americans, Indians, are yellow people, and their ancestors may have migrated from the Asian continent to the Americas through the Bering Strait. This migration process may have occurred between 15,000 and 20,000 years ago, when the Bering Strait formed a land bridge due to lower sea levels during the Ice Age, connecting Asia and North America. The ancestors of the Maya may have originally settled in the northwest of North America, and later gradually migrated south to areas in Central America. There, they interacted and influenced other Native American cultures, forming the unique Mayan civilization. The language of the Mayans belongs to the Mayan language family, which is an important branch of the Native American language and has certain connections with other language families such as the Otomanga language family and the Utah Aztec language family. The Maya's genetic characteristics also reflect their origins and history. The Mayan paternal haplogroup is mainly Q, while the maternal haplogroups are mainly A, B, C and D, which are typical haplogroups of Native Americans. The Mayan autosomes also show their Native American ancestry, but there is also some European and African admixture, possibly due to the influence of Spanish colonization and the slave trade. The history of the Mayan civilization can be divided into three main periods: the pre-classic period, about 2000 BC to 250 AD, the classic period, about 250 AD to 900 AD, and the post-classic period, about 950 AD to 1520 AD. Pre-classic period, the Maya transitioned from gathering, fishing and hunting to farming, and began to settle down. They planted corn, beans, pumpkins, peppers and other crops, made pottery and clay sculptures. Early cities and sacrificial buildings appeared, and developed a hieroglyphic writing system. Classical period, the Mayan civilization reached the peak of prosperity in all aspects. It built many magnificent pyramids, palaces, temples and stadiums, carved a large number of monuments and stone tablets, recorded the history and myths of the royal family, and developed a sophisticated calendar and mathematics, and produced rich works of art and literature. The Mayan political organization was based on city-states, and complex alliances and confrontations were formed between the city-states. Among them, Tikal and Calakmul were the two most powerful city-states and competed with each other. Post-classic period, the Maya civilization experienced a collective political collapse, the decline of the classic period, which resulted in the abandonment of many cities, population migration, and cultural decline. Reasons may include environmental degradation, social conflicts, wars, and plagues. In the post-classic period, the Maya civilization was influenced and invaded by the Toltecs and Aztecs from Mexico, and new city-states and kingdoms emerged, such as Chichen Itza, Mayapan, and the Kingdom of Quiche, etc., but also war and unrest occurred frequently. In the 16th century, Spanish colonists conquered the Mayan region, and the Mayan civilization perished. Next, let us introduce in detail the main achievements of the Mayan civilization. The Mayan language and writing system and their literary works are important features of the Mayan civilization, demonstrating the wisdom and creativity of the Mayan people. The language of the Mayans belongs to the Mayan language family, which is an important branch of the Native American language and has certain connections with other language families such as the Otomanga language family and the Utah Aztec language family. The Mayan language family includes a variety of languages, such as Yucatec Maya, Quiche, Chult, Chulkzi, etc. They have some commonalities in vocabulary, grammar and phonology, but they also have many differences. Mayan languages have different distribution and development in different regions and periods of the Mayan civilization. Some languages have become extinct, and some languages still have speakers. The Mayan writing system is a phonetic script consisting of pictographic symbols and syllabic symbols that can represent multiple languages of the Mayan language family. The Mayan writing system was the earliest and most mature writing system in the Americas during the pre-Columbian era. The earliest records of Mayan writing can be traced back to the San Bartolo ruins in Guatemala in the 3rd century BC. After that, Mayan writing continued to be used until shortly after the Spanish conquistadors invaded the Maya in the 16th and 17th centuries. After that, Mayan writing continued to be used in some more remote areas for a period of time, such as Tayazal. The Mayan writing system has now been largely deciphered, and it is possible to read most of the Mayan inscriptions on buildings, monuments, pottery, and bark paper documents, as well as a small amount of post-conquest Mayan literature written in Latin script. The literary works of the Maya mainly include three parts: myths and legends, fables, and dramatic works. The Mayan myths and legends mainly come from the Popol Vuh, a Mayan epic that records the stories of the Mayan ancestors and gods. Mayan fables mainly come from Chilam Balam, a Mayan prose collection that contains Mayan history, prophecies, medicine, astronomy, and folk wisdom. The Mayan dramatic works mainly come from Rabinal Achi, a Mayan stage play that depicts scenes of Mayan war. Politics and culture. The political structure of the Maya civilization was composed of a series of city-states, each led by a ruler, kunyu. These kunyu are divine leaders and are seen as bridges between humans and gods. Each city-state had its own administrative institutions and religious systems, and also had political and economic connections with other city-states. The political structure of the Mayan civilization was not static, but varied with time and geography. In the pre-classic period, the Mayan city-states were smaller in scale, the rulers had weaker powers, and the social organization was looser. During the classic period, the scale of the Mayan city-states expanded, the power of the rulers increased, and the social organization became more rigorous. In the post-classic period, the size of Maya city-states shrank, the power of rulers weakened, and social organizations became more decentralized. The political structure of the Mayan civilization was also influenced by other Mesoamerican civilizations. During the classic period, the Mayan city-states had exchanges and conflicts with the Teotihuacan civilization, absorbing some political and cultural elements from them. In the post-classic period, the Mayan city-states were invaded and influenced by the Toltecs and Aztecs, and some city-states were conquered or assimilated. Maya economy and trade is a broad topic that touches upon their agriculture, crafts, markets, exchange networks, resources, and commodities. The Mayan economy mainly relied on agriculture. They cultivated various crops such as corn, beans, pumpkins, cocoa, avocados, etc., and also domesticated dogs, turkeys, and stingless bees. The Maya adopted different agricultural techniques in different geographical environments, such as slash-and-burn farming, highland agriculture, water control systems, etc. The agricultural production of the Mayans not only met their own needs, but also provided materials for trade. Mayan trade was divided into internal trade and external trade. Internal trade refers to trade between city-states within the Maya region, and external trade refers to trade between the Maya region and other Mesoamerican regions or further afield. Mayan trade included both raw material trade, such as feathers, salt, obsidian, jade, etc., and finished product trade, such as cotton fabrics, colorful vases, jasper gems, etc. Mayan trade included both market transactions and non-market exchanges, such as tributes, gifts, trophies, etc. Maya trade included both land and sea trade, and they used canoes and sea boats for water transportation. Mayan trade played an important role in the economy. It promoted the circulation of resources, increased the diversity of commodities, strengthened the connections between city-states, and influenced the development of politics and culture. Mayan trade also reflected the stratification of society. Some nobles and merchants controlled the trade of luxury goods and enjoyed the benefits of trade, while some farmers and slaves engaged in low-end trade and bore the costs of trade. Mayan art and architecture are an important part of the Mayan civilization and reflect the technological, cultural and religious level of the Mayan people. Mayan art included forms such as painting, sculpture, textiles, and pottery, often dealing with themes such as mythology, religion, history, and everyday life. The Mayans used natural pigments and materials to create works of art that are rich in color, beautifully composed, and exquisitely detailed. Mayan art has strong expressive power and artistic appeal, allowing viewers to deeply understand and feel the spirit and culture of the Mayan civilization. Mayan architecture mainly used materials such as stone and wood to build a variety of complexes ranging from simple houses to ornate temples. Mayan architecture featured large and complex architectural designs, a high degree of ornamentation, and a wealth of symbols and patterns. Mayan architecture not only incorporated natural features, but also focused on directional and geometric positioning to conform to Mayan observations of celestial orbits. Mayan architecture not only has religious and political significance, but also reflects the Mayan emphasis on science and culture. Mayan art and architecture had a profound impact on world culture, and their styles and themes were borrowed and imitated by other Mesoamerican civilizations and modern artists. Mayan art and architecture are also key to contemporary archaeology's understanding of the religious beliefs and overall culture of the Mayan civilization. Mayan religion and mythology are an important part of Mayan civilization. They reflect the Maya people's imagination and understanding of nature, society, and the universe. The religion of the Maya is a polytheistic belief. The Mayans worshipped many different gods, such as the creator, the god of the sky, the god of corn, the god of rain, the god of death, etc. These gods have different personalities and functions. Some are kind, some are malevolent, and some are neutral. The Mayans believed that these gods controlled the running of the world and needed to be pleased and communicated through sacrifices and prayers. The Maya's sacrificial methods include sacrifices, dance, music, flames, cigarettes, alcohol, etc., and sometimes blood sacrifices and human sacrifices are also performed to express reverence and gratitude to the gods. Mayan myths are the Mayan people's narratives about the origin and history of the world, including creation myths, hero myths, historical myths, etc. The Mayan creation myth mainly comes from the Popol Vuh, a Mayan epic that records the stories of the Mayan ancestors and gods. The Mayans believed that the original world was an empty space and ocean, and that the creators Tepu and Gukimats created everything with words. They created animals first, but found that animals could not speak, so they created humans. They first made humans out of clay, but the clay figures were fragile. Then they made humans out of wood, but the wooden figures had no soul and did not respect the gods, so they were destroyed by the flood. Finally, they used yellow and white corn flour to create humans. These humans were the ancestors of the Mayans. They were smart, beautiful, spiritual, and capable of worshipping gods. The Mayan heroic myth mainly tells the adventures and battles of the corn god Yum Cox and his two sons Hunapu and Zbalanque. They launched a series of confrontations with the god of death in the underground world, and finally won, resurrecting the god of corn, bringing corn and life to mankind. The historical myths of the Maya mainly record the migration and establishment of city-states by the Maya, as well as the deeds of the Mayan ancestors and heroes. The Mayans had many important inventions and creations. In addition to the words we introduced above, many of them were black technologies that surpassed intelligent imagination, such as, Maya script is the earliest writing system in the Americas. It consists of pictographic symbols and syllabic symbols. It can record many languages of the Mayan language family, but it has not yet been completely deciphered. The Mayan calendar is a complex and precise calendar that is composed of 3 different calendars, namely the long calendar, the Hab calendar and the Chongjin calendar. It can represent any point in time and can also predict solar eclipses, lunar eclipses and astronomical phenomena such as the movement of Venus. Mayan mathematics is a binary mathematical system that discovered and used the concept of zero, which can be used for operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, and can also be used for calculations of astronomical calendars. Mayan architecture is a construction method that cleverly uses the natural environment and materials to build many magnificent pyramids, palaces, temples and stadiums, etc. Some of them also have exquisite carvings and murals, showing the artistic and religious style of the Mayans. Let us take the calendar as an example to introduce the uniqueness of the Mayan civilization in detail. The Mayan calendar is very different from other calendars, mainly in the following points. The Mayan calendar is a system composed of 3 calendars, namely the Tzolk'in calendar, the Hab calendar and the long count calendar. They record time in different cycles and units, and sometimes are combined with other astronomical cycles, such as Venus cycle and 819-day cycle, etc. Let us take the calendar as an example to introduce the uniqueness of the Mayan civilization in detail. The Mayan calendar is very different from other calendars, mainly in the following points. The Mayan calendar is a system composed of 3 calendars, namely the Tzolk'in calendar, the Hab calendar and the long count calendar. They record time in different cycles and units, and sometimes are combined with other astronomical cycles, such as Venus cycle and 819-day cycle, etc. The Mayan calendar is a calendar closely related to mythology and religion. It believes that time is cyclical, and the end and beginning of each calendar cycle has special meaning and impact, requiring corresponding rituals and divination. The Mayan calendar is a calendar that is not affected by geography and climate. It is not based on the solar year or agricultural cycle. Instead, It takes the mythical creation as its starting point and records the length of time from creation to any date in units of days. There is currently no definite answer to the origin of the Mayan calendar, but there are some possible hypotheses and evidence. According to some Mayan mythological traditions, such as Popol Vuh and Mayan fables, the ancestors of the Mayans were brought by a god named Itzamna, who taught them the calendar, writing and other basics of civilization. Itzamna may have been a symbolic figure representing the process by which the Maya inherited or borrowed calendar systems from other Mesoamerican civilizations. Some archaeologists and historians believe that the origin of the Mayan calendar may be related to the Olmec culture, one of the earliest civilizations in Mesoamerica, which appeared from 1200 BC to 400 BC and was mainly distributed along the Gulf Coast, Veracruz and Tabasco states. For Olmec culture had a profound influence on later Mesoamerican civilizations, such as the Maya, Toltec, Aztec, etc., providing them with many cultural elements and basic themes. A recent study has found that the Olmec culture used an ancient 260-day calendar that dates back to 1100 BC, centuries earlier than previous estimates. This 260-day calendar may be the predecessor of the Tzolk'in calendar in the Mayan calendar and is also the oldest of all calendars in Mesoamerica. Other archaeologists and historians believe that the origin of the Mayan calendar may be related to the Zapotec culture, another ancient civilization in Mesoamerica that appeared from 1500 BC to 200 BC, mainly in southern Mexico. Of Oaxaca Valley. The Zapotec culture was the first civilization in Mesoamerica to use writing, and it was also the first civilization to use the long calendar, a calendar based on the number of days that elapsed from a mythical starting point, which can represent any point in time. The long count calendar in the Mayan calendar may have evolved from the long count calendar of the Zapotec culture, or may have a common source with it. The exact time when the Mayan civilization disappeared is not easy to determine. Because the Mayan civilization was not a unified political entity, but consisted of many different city-states and kingdoms, and their rise and fall were not completely synchronized. Generally speaking, the disappearance of the Mayan civilization can be divided into two stages: the decline of the Classic period and the demise of the post-Classic period. Sic period, decline of the Classic period, approximately 800 AD to 950 AD. The central region of the Mayan civilization, namely the Petén Basin and the Guatemala highlands, suddenly experienced a collective political collapse, resulting in the abandonment of many cities, population migration, and cultural decline. Reasons may include environmental degradation, social conflicts, wars, and plagues. Destruction of the post-Classic period, approximately 1520 to 1697 AD. The northern region of the Mayan civilization, namely the Yucatan Peninsula, although new city-states and kingdoms appeared during the post-Classic period, such as Chichen Itza, Mayapan, and the Kingdom of Quiche. But wars and unrest also occurred frequently. In the 16th century, Spanish colonists conquered the Mayan region, and the Mayan civilization perished. The last Maya city-state, Najpatan, fell in 1697. The main reason for the decline of the Mayan civilization is a complex and diverse issue involving natural, social, political, and cultural factors. Natural factors. The Mesoamerican region where the Mayan civilization is located is often affected by natural disasters such as droughts, floods, hurricanes, etc., which caused serious difficulties to the agricultural production and life of the Maya people. 12 According to climate change research, from 800 to 950 AD, the Maya region suffered a 150-year extreme drought, leading to social problems such as food shortages, famine, and disease. 34 In addition, the Maya's agricultural methods also caused ecological damage. They used slash-and-burn methods, cutting down and burning large amounts of forest, resulting in soil erosion and reduced water resources. 56 These natural factors have weakened the material foundation and survival ability of the Mayan civilization. Social factors. The social structure of the Mayan civilization was based on city-states. There were complex alliances and confrontations between city-states, and wars and conflicts often occurred. These wars consumed a large amount of manpower, material and financial resources, and also caused a large number of deaths and displacement of the population. In the case of natural disasters and resource shortages, wars further intensified the turmoil and division of Maya society. In addition, there are also differences in class and wealth in Mayan society. Rulers and clergy enjoy privileges and wealth, while ordinary people bear heavy burdens and oppression. These social factors have weakened the internal cohesion and stability of the Mayan civilization. Political factors. The political organization of the Mayan civilization was based on theocratic power. The royal family and clergy claimed that they represented the will of the gods and held political and religious power. However, with the decline of the Mayan civilization, people's belief and worship of gods gradually weakened, and people began to doubt and resist the authority and legitimacy of the royal family and clergy. There were attempts at political reform in some city-states in an attempt to establish a more democratic and equal political system, but these reforms were often opposed and suppressed by conservative forces. These political factors have weakened the leadership and adaptability of the Mayan civilization. Cultural factors. The cultural characteristics of the Mayan civilization are centered on mythology and religion. The Mayans believe that they live in a cycle of time. The end and beginning of each time cycle has special meaning and impact, and requires sacrifice and divination to communicate and please the gods. However, this cultural characteristic also makes the Maya people lack the willingness to actively respond to and change changes in nature and society. Instead, they tend to obey and accept the arrangements and judgments of the gods. This cultural characteristic also makes the Maya people lack an open and tolerant attitude when facing the impact and influence of foreign cultures, but tend to reject and resist. These cultural factors have weakened the innovation and competitiveness of the Mayan civilization. To sum up, there are many reasons for the decline of the Mayan civilization, and no single factor can explain all its processes and results. The decline of the Mayan civilization was a long-term, complex, dynamic and interactive process, involving factors at multiple levels such as nature, society, politics, and culture. They influenced and interacted with each other, ultimately leading to the collapse of the Mayan civilization. The Mayan civilization is a mysterious civilization. There are still many unsolved mysteries in its history and culture. It also has certain exchanges and influences with other civilizations, such as the Olmec civilization, the Toltec civilization, and the Aztec civilization, Spanish civilization, etc. These all make the Mayan civilization more colorful and profound. Dear viewers, thank you for watching and accompanying us. This is the video about world civilization that we bring to you today. We hope that through this video, you can understand the history, characteristics, achievements and influence of different civilizations, appreciate the beauty and diversity of different civilizations, think about the mutual exchanges and interactions of different civilizations, and reflect on the problems and challenges of different civilizations. We believe that civilization is the commonwealth of mankind and the common responsibility of mankind. We should respect and protect different civilizations, promote and develop common civilization, and let the light of civilization illuminate our future. If you like this video, please give us a like and comment, and please also follow our channel. We will continue to bring you more interesting and useful videos. Thank you again for watching. See you next time.